We've been working on the X1 Alpha project for the better part of 5 years, and part of the reason for that is because we decided as a company, I would say way back in 2019, that we made a conscious decision to really try to tackle some of the problems that we felt were not being addressed in the market. Problems revolving around passive and active safety particularly. From a brief standpoint, that's kind of where we started and put our focus, is how can we meet the needs and solve some problems for our core customer who typically rides in varying weather conditions and for long days at a time. There are some unique problems that come from just riding or even one long day, such as fatigue. Getting towards the end of the day, your probability of having an incident just skyrockets. And so how can we solve the problems before you have the crash, in addition to being there for you when you do crash? So that's essentially where the brief for the X1 Alpha started. We actually had a fairly successful adventure helmet in the market with the KOROYD. The KOROYD is a great helmet. It came from a proven off-road shell that had been around for a long time, the UVEX helmet. And then just a couple short years later, we'd been working in the background to elevate the KOROYD into the KOROYD Pro. And that had 4 key features, namely partnering with KOROYD Technologies, which is a head protection technology that we're proud to be partnered with. And we feel like that kind of set us on the ground running. And we started getting some really great feedback that we mined out of both the KOROYD and KOROYD Pro, particularly for our adventure customer. We built into the brief and what we wanted to do with the X1 Alpha. Let's talk about engineering a side plate mechanism for toolless removal, making sure that the peak visor has on-the-fly adjustments, which we have in the X1 Alpha. There's 3 positions. You can keep riding, you can adjust it, whether the sun's low in the day or it's something you want to control your aerodynamics, which obviously changes between rider height, different types of bikes. It's different and unique for every rider's own situation. So this goes far beyond just fit. Gasketing. We really wanted the face shield to close like a premium car door. That was the analogy we used. We wanted the great seal. We wanted to reduce vibration. We wanted to reduce noise. We wanted all of the parts and movable pieces also to be easily replaceable should they break, and to be able to be cleaned and taken off and put back on efficiently, particularly on a long day's ride when you know you're going to be stopping for gas, running to the bathroom, maybe wiping your face shield down, cleaning your peak up, those kind of things. So the X1 Alpha is uniquely, completely toolless removal. Face shield, peak visor, vent covers, everything. Concurrently and right in the brief, I mean, we had made the decision to invest heavily in our hard parts side of the business, and so alongside of building out the X1 and initial design sketches and things like that, we were also building out our team, our wind tunnel, and our laboratory. And in the lab we have 2 3D printers, a CNC machine, a laser cutter, and a whole bunch of other equipment that we can transfer CAD files into real-world examples here at Climb headquarters, validate some things concurrently while working with our factory and our partners. I mean, they're all over the world. So the ability for us to use the equipment we had in the lab, in addition to that, the wind tunnel that we've tested with a peak visor creates its own unique challenges. We just needed to make sure that this helmet performs the best in the market from an adventure touring standpoint. And we've achieved that. Another thing that we're pretty excited about is working very closely with our partner KOROYD and reconfiguring the EPS and KOROYD plumbing, I would say, the impact protection story that we have inside of the helmet. It's sort of a unique, you could think of it as almost a sandwich matrix with EPS closest to the shell, which acts somewhat like an igloo cooler and bounces the UV light of the sun that can draw in heat back away from the helmet. So that helps keep the rider a little cooler. But also, the heat that's coming off that you're producing yourself has a pathway out of the helmet itself. The KOROYD configuration with the EPS is really something that many iterations back and forth, working with our factory partner, working with KOROYD, trying to get it just right to work. But it took a lot. I mean, it took at least 30 CAD revisions between us, KOROYD, and the factory, going back and forth into the wind tunnel, CNC machine, rapid prototyping. I mean, it was long days, long nights, a lot of working dinners. I mean, just the whole team sacrificed a lot to get us where we needed to be. It's truly amazing. On the side plate mechanism alone, there's a whole bunch of engineering and things and some problems that we definitely wanted to address. We not only wanted toolless removal of the face shield, but we wanted it to be self-adjusting. And so it's spring-loaded. It's got detent rack that has been specifically designed not to wear down. So if you ride with your face shield in various positions, particularly in the highest position at high speeds on the highway, it's not going to slam down shut on you. That's part of our passive safety initiative. It's completely removable if it was ever to fail in any way. It's very easy to replace as an entire kit. We just want to make sure we keep the rider out and riding. Nothing to be lost, nothing to get broken. When we got the X1 to a point where we could get it out in the field for testing, like basically a fully formed helmet, we went all over South America, down through Chile, up and down mountain ranges, put well over 14,000 miles on the X1 Alpha helmet, validate, prove out, and then nitpick out the little problems that our team down there was finding so we could keep going in the development process. So that was super helpful. One of the things that we wanted to improve upon in that process, particularly on the passive safety side, and the example is riding through a tunnel or going around a corner in like a wooded area where there's a lot of shading, where the light changes very drastically in a very short amount of time. We've landed on our photochromic functionality because it is a passive safety thing that helps the rider ride with better visibility, less overcorrecting of the eyes during that transition, which happens very fast. Working directly with our optics partner, we redesigned a completely new face shield technology. It was designed to be optically almost perfect, working with both our optics partner and with Pinlock. And what we've achieved is an optical class 1 clarity face shield that stays optical class 1 with the Pinlock inserted. And that's a big one. Really, to throw this all together, you've got a brand new face shield that is designed to be optically correct with Super HD and infrared technology built into it. Over the course of a day's ride, whether you're touring, adventure touring, or just going for a long day's ride, it's going to help you riding sharper and keep the synapses firing like the way they should. And that's really preventative safety. That keeps you from crashing in the first place. So when it comes to ventilation, we talked a little bit about the KOROYD and EPS configuration, right? So we wanted to make sure that we were channeling out not just the bottom part of the EPS that sat closest to the head, but the top part as well, so that we were maximizing the airflow coming in, down through the KOROYD tubes, over the head, but also allowing the heat to release from the head and having a place to go and out. And so with that, we've got 2 forehead vents and 2 front chin vents that have actuation nodes and are fully operable and able to be closed. 4 vents in the back, and our work we did in the field is we figured out how to get negative pressure to be able to help pull the air, the stale air that comes off the top of your head through the back and out, basically 4 vents. 2 underneath the rear trim spoiler and 2 at the bottom of the helmet. And we've designed them in a way specific for adventure riding. When we went to trim out this helmet, we wanted to be really cognizant of not overbuilding this helmet. And so if you look at the bottom, the front trim is its own unique piece. It's very low profile. Same thing with the back, which houses basically the bottom vents. But there's 2 parts on both sides of the helmet, really on that chiseled jawline that you see in the X1 Alpha, that has what we call an infinity edge. And basically that process at the factory is they finish it, they roll it, they sand it before they treat, coat, and paint it. And it's a great place to be able to put, specifically on the left side, a universal communication system, but it's also a weight saver. And it accentuates premium neck roll liner material that we have, specifically the premium perforated goat leather. Now on the inside, we're using our partner burr, which is woven into the material all throughout the cheek pads and crown liner. So as you sweat, it's helping cool your body down, basically cool your head down. So with the X1 Alpha, you get a range of configurations because you can ride this with a set of goggles, particularly if you take the face shield off, you're able to run the goggle straps underneath the peak visor and around the back of the helmet in a nice continuous way. You can run it in street mode. Really, it's rider's choice from there. But it's a similar configuration as what we offered our customer on the Kraus Pro. We get a lot of great feedback from it, and we wanted to preserve those things as we built them into the X1 Alpha. The X1 Alpha is a helmet that rides quieter, more comfortably, manages heat better, and basically premium interiors and just designed from the ground up to be meant for days of non-stop riding, day in and day out, being able to live in this helmet and have it at the highest possible functionality for the rider.